I don't know what the accuracy of these reports are, but what's being reported is that he had 2 broken orbital bones and a broken nose. So both his eyes were broken and his nose was broken. And Justin was here a couple days later and he looked great. It's just nuts. It's just like, he's very deceptively good at rolling with shots. And, you know, he's fucking durable as hell and just very clever in how he sets things up and where he finds openings.
Ilia's never had to come back from adversity. Ilia's only ever been the hammer. He's never been the nail. Know what I mean? That's why after that fight with Justin that I had, I knew I could come back stronger and better because I've done it before. I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mindset, his whole like ego, know what I mean? Like his is like, I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just don't think he'll ever be the same. He's never had to come back from nothing like that. I've had to face adversity before, so I'd happily be his first fight back.
Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax.
You win the way you won in front of the White House. How's it feel?
You know, it's really not real yet. I was expecting to have like an internal sense of relief that like I don't have something to was chasing this belt. I was expecting to wake up with like some kind of release of pressure, but I don't know. I don't feel that. As the days go by, every day I feel a little bit more. 2 days ago, my dad was like, what was it like waking up being the champion? And I was like, I haven't even thought about that. And then I was, you know, on the ship like 10 minutes later, and I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, wow, I'm the champion. Like, it's fucking crazy.
I was a little bit surprised. Also, I know that Gaethje is a hell of a fighter. If I were him, what else does he want to accomplish? He did it all.
What do you think is next for Ilia?
Ilia is an unbelievable fighter. Sometimes just not your night. If he fights again, we will probably regain the title. He put too much energy, tried to finish Justin, and when he didn't get it,
I think that really screwed him up. He was expecting to go in there and do what he normally does.
Just a wild motherfucker, like across the board. But for him to pull that off the way he did at the White House was nuts. I mean, his some books had him a 6-1 underdog. And Ilia Topuria is so fucking good. He's so good. And he had him in sick trouble in that second round. I watched it again yesterday. The second round was brutal. I mean, Ilia was just destroying his liver.
Yeah, almost put him down.
Yeah. But even in the second round, he still bloodied Ilia up. His face was busted up. Like, he was getting the most damage to Ilia's face, and that was a giant factor in the...
I was so shocked. I counted him out against Patty. I thought Patty was going to, come out there and get the job done. He proved me wrong. Thought Ilia was going to get the job done. He proved me wrong. I felt embarrassed to even be sitting by him, counting him out. It was one of the most inspiring fights I've ever seen. His jab looked beautiful. His awkwardness helped him. Ilia did not know what to do. Ilia would still crack him, but Justin didn't even look like he got in a fight. It was so impressive. It was one of the sickest performances.
Small guys, they're delusional. They have false confidence because they're hiding behind a weight class.
Were you surprised that Topuria ended up losing?
Topuria, in my eyes, was the best UFC fighter right now, but Topuria makes the mistake of he trains a little too hard. I knew if Gaethje could withstand the storm, he had unorthodox things that he was doing. Gaethje would dip and then grab that uppercut and hit him with the uppercut because, I mean, he's been in.
When Ilia Topuria sat down on his stool between rounds 4 and 5 at the White House, it felt like more than just the end of a fight. It felt like the end of an era. For months, many fans had viewed Topuria as nearly unstoppable, a former 2-division champion carrying an undefeated record and a reputation as one of the most complete fighters in mixed martial arts. The expectation was simple. He would defeat Justin Gaethje, strengthen his legacy, and continue his march toward all-time greatness. Instead, the combat sports world witnessed one of the the biggest upsets in recent memory. Gaethje did not simply beat Topuria, he pushed him to his physical limits and left him carrying serious injuries that would become the biggest talking point after the event. Medical reports revealed that Topuria suffered fractures around both orbital bones along with a broken nose. According to statements made after the fight, his vision was compromised early in the contest and continued to deteriorate as the rounds progressed. Yet despite the damage, he continued fighting against one of the most relentless pressure fighters the sport has ever seen. That level of toughness earned respect across the MMA community, but it also highlighted just how brutal the contest truly was. As photos emerged the following morning, the extent of the punishment became impossible to ignore. The visible swelling, facial damage, and injuries painted a picture of a champion who had endured one of the toughest nights of his career. The shock surrounding the result only grew when analysts began reflecting on what had happened. Justin Gaethje entered the fight as a significant underdog, with many believing he would struggle to handle Topuria's speed, power, and technical precision. Instead, he produced the performance of a lifetime. The upset itself was stunning, but the manner in which it happened made it even more memorable. The setting added another layer to the story. A historic event held at the White House, a massive audience watching around the world, and one of the sport's biggest stars suffering his first major setback created a moment that instantly became part of MMA history. Commentators and analysts described the atmosphere as something unlike anything they had experienced before. The fight's momentum shifted repeatedly, but as the damage accumulated on Topuria, it became increasingly clear that Gaethje was taking control. Discussions afterward focused heavily on a key medical examination that occurred during the fight, when officials briefly evaluated whether Topuria could continue. Ultimately, the bout went on, leading to an even more dramatic and punishing conclusion. By the time the fight was stopped, there was little doubt that both men had left everything inside the cage. The upset itself sent shockwaves throughout the entire MMA world. Justin Gaethje was already respected as one of the most dangerous and entertaining fighters in UFC history, but this performance elevated him into a completely different category. Going into the fight, many experts believed Topuria's youth, speed, technical precision, and championship confidence would simply be too much for Gaethje to overcome. The former champion had looked nearly unbeatable in recent appearances, and there was a growing belief that he was entering a period of dominance that could last for years. But Gaethje saw things differently. From the opening moments, he fought with the confidence of a man who refused to accept the role of underdog. Instead of being intimidated by Topuria's reputation, he embraced the challenge and steadily turned the fight into the kind of brutal war where he has always thrived. Round after round, he continued applying pressure, forcing exchanges, and making Topuria work harder than he ever had before. As the fight progressed, the momentum slowly began to shift. What started as another title defense for an undefeated superstar gradually transformed into a showcase of Gaethje's toughness, experience, and relentless determination. By the championship rounds, it was clear that the fight was no longer following the script most people had imagined. The champion was struggling to deal with the constant pressure, while Gaethje looked stronger and more confident with every passing minute. The setting made the moment feel even bigger. A historic event held at the White House, millions watching around the world, and one of the sport's most celebrated champions being pushed to his absolute limits created an atmosphere unlike anything MMA had seen before. Fans, analysts, and former fighters immediately began comparing the moment to some of the greatest upsets in combat sports history. For Gaethje, it was the defining victory of his career. For Topuria, it was the first major setback of a journey that had seemed destined for greatness. And for everyone watching, it was a reminder that no matter how dominant a fighter appears, nothing is guaranteed once the cage door closes. The performance not only changed the lightweight division overnight, but also proved once again why Justin Gaethje remains one of the most feared and respected competitors in the sport.